Great start. Anyway, welcome guys to Daddy and the Don. Sorry about that intro. Just went a bit nuts. Today we're here to do a very quick transfer show. It won't be an hour long. It'll probably be about 20 to half an hour. And today we're focusing on my team, Arsenal Football Club. So we're just going to go through some of the transfer rumours and deals and news that's hitting around regarding Arsenal. So if you are in the comments and you are watching, please make sure you give us a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It'd be much appreciated. If anyone wants to join in at some point, do you want to stream me at the end? There is a link which is now on screen. Again, it's now on screen, but again, I'm going to go through some stuff first before I add anyone on. Big up to Dalboy, Gunnar, smash the like, people. Yes, please do so. Listen to Dalboy. Rob Jones, hello. And Jay, no one wants to go to you. You're signed no one. Yeah, cheers, Jay. You're such a prick. Anyway, so Arsenal today in the news, obviously, the main one, the thumbnail was about Jesus. It looks increasingly likely that he is going to be our striking number one option for a striker. Though there are others that will be that we're interested, but regarding Jesus, it's likely that he's in his last year of his contract. Now, reports are saying that Man City would like 55 million, but Arsenal are confident they can get the deal done for 40 million. How many times have we heard this before in the past of Arsenal? We seem to muck around with deals. And this one, I actually agree. I think we shouldn't be paying over 55. I think 40 would be good enough. I think he's a good player. I think he's proven that he can play in the top team. And I think he wouldn't mind coming to Arsenal because he probably knows he'll be number one. Would he start up front? Well, that's the problem. This is what my only concern with Jesus is that he is a striker, but because of the flexibility, I worry that he might get pushed out and not show his real potential. We want to sign someone who's an out-and-out striker. Is he going to be number 9? If he's told that, then that's good. He is one of 6 options, so he's the first option that's been reported in the media that Arsenal are looking to get, and they want to sign at least one, but they are interested in maybe getting 2 of these 6 options. Now, Jesus is the one that's came in the last couple of months. It's come from nowhere. I think it was reported near the end of the year that there's an interest in him. I think the Brazilian connection always helps. The other option is a guy called Gianluca Samacca. I can't say his name. He plays in the Serie A for Sal Susio. I've never heard of him. I'm not going to act like I know him. He is a good player by stats. He scored 16 goals this year for an average team in the league. But again, it's someone I've never heard of. All I know is that he's 6'4". And today, a lot of reports are, bringing to the news table that Arsenal have bid 35 million, 40 million euros for this player, but it has been rejected. Now, if Arsenal seem to be going for 2 players, it looks like that is their plan. Will they? Again, I don't know. Will we sign this guy? Again, other reports saying that he's actually not interested in leaving Italy. He has just played for Italy in the game against Argentina. Again, I don't know much about this guy. He looks like a target man. It looks like someone that maybe Arteta wants to build around, especially if you've got players crossing the ball like Odegaard and Saka, and Tierney, who can all cross the ball quite well. Don't know him. I'm not going to act like I'm going to say that he's the best player. Again, someone who's not Prem proven. He's had a couple of decent seasons in an average league. Let's not make no mistake about it. People keep telling me the Italian league's getting better, but look at Lukaku. He smashed the league, and then he went back to Chelsea, and he struggled. So he's the second option. So Jesus, there's increasingly likely that Arsenal are going to offer 40 million, and very, very optimistic about that. And then with this other lad, Gianluca Samacca, we have made a bid. Now, how true that is, you never know. But a lot of sources are saying that the bid has been made and it's been rejected. So will Arsenal go back again? I don't know. We'll see. There's a few other options. Victor Osimhen, Nigerian striker who plays for Napoli, scored 24 goals in 2 seasons, and they want 85 million. And rightly, Arsenal have pulled out of the deal. It looks like we're not interested. I wouldn't want him. I don't think he's done enough to warrant a move to a big club. I think he's quite overrated. Another player that everyone probably wants because they see his name a lot and they think he's good. But they've probably never watched him. I've never watched him. I've seen his name. I know he scores a few goals, but let's not get excited. He scored, I think, maybe 15 to 20 goals for Lille in the French division, and that's the French division. So looks like that deal's dead. Looks like we're not interested now because we're not willing to pay 85 million, and if we were, that'd be absolutely stupid. He's not worth that. He's probably not worth more than 40. But Napoli obviously want the money, but I don't think he'll go anywhere, and I don't think he'll come Arsenal. So that's good news because I don't want him. The fourth option is Dominique Carvalho, and a name that continually gets criticised by a lot of fans that know nothing about football. What you've got to remember with Calvert-Lewin is he is a proven Premier League striker, and he had a bad year last year because of injuries. Just because of injuries, he scores goals, he knows what he's doing, and he can play in that number 9 role, and he's good in the air, and he's proven in the Premier League. So I've just seen a comment. So before I get there, Phil saying big up Nketiah. No, I'm not bigging him up. He's crap. We'll get to him. Yes, Don. Thank you, Laura. Surely you need to sign a proven Prem players. Liverpool and City do it always. Arsenal seem to sign other league players and they flop, which is the case. And this is my point. We don't know this Victor Osimhen. I don't know this Italian lad. Jesus, yeah, I think he's proven. I think he'll get an opportunity. I'll do well. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin again. Take away last year, 2 seasons before, he scored decent a number of goals for a team that are a top 10 team. What you got to remember, Napoli are not a top 10 team. They're a top 4 or 5 team. And he only scored 24 goals in 2 years, where Calvert-Lewin probably would have got at least 10 this year if he was fit. Now, he's a name that gets criticised. Again, by a lot of fake fans who don't go to games, who just look at stats and look at players' names in the news and these players. And it's very similar to what people media tell you. The media like to bum up players like Xavi and Iniesta. They bum up these players who aren't good enough. Let's not make no mistake about it. The Premier League is the best league in the world. So that's the false option. We've been linked with Tammy Abraham again. We were linked in the summer, if you believe reports. We weren't willing to pay what Chelsea were asking for. So in the end, Roma were, and they took him. Would he have been great for his last year? You just never know. You know, he scored the goals. But again, it's the Italian league. It's the Italian league. It's the Italian league. I like Abraham. He's proven in the Premier another one who can score goals. Do I think he'll go to Arsenal? No, I think he's lower down the list because I think the money that Roma will want, and I think maybe he wants Champions League football. I know that the Roma have got Europa League next year, but I think he'll hope that someone else might come in for him and give him a go because he did play well, and you know all you got to do is play well in where you are, and he did. But would I like him to come Arsenal? I wouldn't be too bothered if he came. I think he'd be a decent signing. I just don't think it's likely. And finally, Martinez from Inter Milan. We've been linked with this lad for a few years now. Another player that I didn't know too much about 3-4 years ago, but I kept an eye on him because of the links, and he does score consistently, and he plays for Argentina. And he seems to be a very powerful striker with a bit of pace, and he's a bit of a poacher. He's got a little bit of an all-round game. Again, I've always said that you got to be proven in the Prem, but this guy seems to be a player that's ready for the Prem on paper. Of course, you can never take a gamble with players and expect them to be great, but he looks unlikely. I think because of Champions League football and because of his price tag, I think he's definitely one that we probably won't get. If you look at them, the most likely one would probably be Jesus. He wants to move. He wants to be number 9. He wants to stay in the Prem. You know, I think he'll realise he'll be the main guy for Arsenal and given the opportunity to get us back to Champions League football. He's Brazilian with with the links that he brings. So, I think with 1 year left in his contract, I think if Arsenal offered 40, 35 million, I think City would accept it, and that is what the belief is. So, going through them strikers, who would you want? Arsenal fans watching, out of the 2, what 2 out of them 6? Out of Jesus, Sabatica, Osimhen, Calvert-Lewin, Abraham and Martinez. And please don't just say the obvious ones that you think are good. Me, I'd have Calvert-Lewin and Jesus. You know why? Because they're Prem proven, they're playing the Prem now, and they will score goals, and they're both going to be given that number 9 if they were both given a chance to play number 9. So for me, that's who I'd sign. I think Arsenal will try and sign 2 of them. I do definitely think one will come, and I think if I had to put my money on it, it'd be Jesus. I wasn't particularly over the moon when I heard about it, but now more I think about it, I think he's sort of proven that he can play number 9, and I think as long as he's given that chance and not moved out to the right or left, I think he'll do well for us. Moving on from that news, so Aaron Hinkley, I think his name, Hickey, not Hinkley. I'm trying to pronounce names. Hickey, Scottish international, plays for Bologna. Now, there's been a lot of reports that Arsenal are interested. Now, I've got a few sources that another team in the Premier League are not convinced that Arsenal are actually interested in that. It's Bologna making news up so then they can make this team offer more money for that player. And that team, apparently Brentford, that's what I've been told. Now, Brentford are interested in Hinkley. Hickey. Now, they don't want to offer more than what they want. I think they want around 20 million. So the rumours are that Arsenal are interested, but there's no confirmation that that is true. It's just rumours. Brentford are 100% interested in Hickey. but they're not willing to pay the money, and they believe that this has been made up for them to make, an offer for him. But Brentford have got a few more options in that right back position. Now, again, the name doesn't go away now. The name doesn't go away at the moment. It keeps getting linked, but there's no confirmation. A lot of these Instagram pages, Arsenal fan pages, keep saying the deals are agreed and then bids made. There's been no bid. The only team that's made a bid for Hickey is Brentford, and it's been rejected. That's 100% confirmed. Arsenal, it's no confirmation if they're actually interested. They're interested in a left back, and we'll see if that continues to develop in the future, because going on to Nuno Tavares, he's shit. I think they realise he's not good enough and he needs to go on loan, and I think he will go on loan, and we'll see where he is from there. But regarding Hickey, versatile, can play both right back and left back. Will he be the guy that comes in and backs up Tierney? I think he'll want to start, and I think he'll start at Brentford. I think he'll be their first choice right back, where if he came to Arsenal, he'd be the backup right back and left back. So I don't know how true it is. Again, there's a lot of rumours, there's no confirmation. But I've got a source that says, as of last week, there was no bid from Arsenal. The only offer is from Brentford, and they're interested in him along with other right backs. But this is an Arsenal story. And we'll go from there. Just go to a few of the comments. Jesus quality, in my opinion, he'll be a good signing. Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I actually do think it'll be a great signing. I think that's a good thing. Arsenal fans want big names, but don't have the levers to compete with the big teams. Fans need to realise that even an average stricken is probably an upgrade from what you had this season. Agreed. Calvert-Lewin would be a great signing. I think a lot of fans don't understand. It's like he's got potential to get bigger. If you give him an opportunity in a bigger team, he'll do well. And I think Jesus has shown he's good enough. He scored goals for Man City, so he can do it for Arsenal. There's no doubt about that. And just finally on Hickey, like I said, if he signs, then fair enough. But right now, it's all rumours, and it's a lot of confusion of actually what's going on. And what I'm being aware of last week, it's only one team was actually bidded for him. So we'll see. I've watched him against Ukraine. He's got glimpses, but he looks like another wing back more than a left back. And that worries me. I think wing-backs aren't playing a 4, and that's why Tavares is shit, because he gets exposed. Cancelo is a wing-back, but he plays for Man City. He doesn't need to defend most games. Leave Hickey alone, find your own players. Like I said, I know that he was linked with Brentford, but Brentford are not willing to pay what they want. And I think we'll see. Again, I wouldn't mind him, but he would start and play first-team football at Brentford. He wouldn't at Arsenal. Simple as. Moving on, there is interest in Zinchenko from Man City, another left back, but he's versatile. He can play sort of centre midfield, left midfield. He can even play attacking and defensive midfield. So I'm actually quite happy with this link, because I think he's a very underrated player, someone who does feature a lot but doesn't always start for Man City, and someone who it wasn't a left back. He was a left midfielder, I believe. He was more of a non-attacking midfielder, but then he became a left back, and he always does a job when called upon. But for his country, he plays centre midfield. He's the vice captain, I believe, or third captain. And against Scotland, yes, it's Scotland. He was the best player on the pitch. He was pinging balls over. He was a man of match performance. But what would he be if he signed for Arsenal? Would he be a left back, or would he be a centre midfielder? That's the interesting thing about it. And I've already said this about Jesus. I don't like players like that. I obviously like versatility, but you like a player to be given their position. That's what you do, because if they're versatile, it sort of tells you that, are they first team? Yeah, they're versatile in the fact that they can move after position. But if he comes in to fill in positions every single time, no, not for me. Bring him in. You need to tell him where he plays. I'll have him. I think he's another good player. I think he's still quite young. He's in his 20s. And we'll go from there. Arsenal transfer good players. Thank you, sir. Shock Arteta's link with City players. So his average and the quality he's got at the moment. I wouldn't say he's average. I wouldn't say he's amazing, but I think he'd be a good player for Arsenal, Jay. I think another player that might get a bit more first-team football. If you watched him against Scotland, yes, it's Scotland. He was the best player on the pitch. I think obviously Arteta looking at our City players because of the connection with Pep. But I love him. I think he's a good signing. I think I'll take him every day of the week. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I know Man City are interested in Cucurella because he had one good year. But we'll see. We'll see. I think, again, I like both Hickey and Zinchenko, but I think either one. But wouldn't be surprised if we don't take any of them. But Nuno Tavares, apparently, numerous reports he's been told he can go on loan because he's shit, basically. Serge Gnabry, another signing that all the fans want because of what he achieved for Bayern Munich. But let's be honest, for the last few years, he has been very under par. He's starting to go back to the lad we knew that was playing for us. But I think there's a lot of people want him to sign because of what he did achieve in them few years for Bayern Munich. I don't know where he would fit in. Now, I keep seeing these people putting these mock teams and it's Saka and him on the left. What about Martinelli? What about Smith Rowe? We don't need Gnabry. We don't. I'd be happy if we kept Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Pepe, Saka. There's 4 good wingers there. Maybe a centre mid, attacking mid behind Odegaard. We don't need a winger. We don't. There's rumours today about Torreira because he's on the free now for Juventus. Wouldn't want him either. They're not the players we need. We don't need wingers. We need a striker. We need maybe another backup attacking midfielder. We need a centre mid. We need a fullback and possibly another centre back. Depends if Holding leaves. But we don't need a winger. Of course, if he can come in, great. But he wouldn't start straight away. But will he get to that level he did for Bayern Munich? It really hasn't for the last few years. I think this is more nonsense in the news. Sky Germany have reported that Real Madrid and Arsenal are interested. So I think if Real Madrid are interested, then I would not be surprised if they're the ones who end up buying him. Obviously, with Mane possibly potentially going to Bayern Munich, it looks likely that Gnabry might be the one to leave because I think they only signed Sane a few years ago from Man City. So would I like it? Yes. Would it make sense? No. Simple as. And same with Dybala. I think it's slightly overrated as well. Yuri Tillmans from Leicester. Last year's contract. I think Arsenal have been linked with him for a few years now. I think he's a good, decent age. I think he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's someone who can bring in a bit of quality, attacking-wise. He knows how to sit back and play in that defensive role. Xhaka is too similar to Partey. Tielemans is not similar to Partey. I think Partey will definitely play this year. I think he had an underrated year. I think Saka played better in the second half, but I do think Xhaka doesn't want to be there anymore. I think his interview against Newcastle proved that. Tielemans, younger. I don't know his specific age, but he's in his mid-20s. I think he's got 1 year left on his contract. I think Leicester will look for something around 30 million for him. And I think we need to snap him up. We need to do it before someone else gets there too, before us, because that's what we do. We take too long and we do not think about other teams coming in, and we take too long and we fumble. We need to be direct. We need to go into it and we need to make an offer. And if we do, he'll be a great player. Just going to a few of the comments again. Martinez and Jesus transfer. Yeah, I like I said, I definitely Jesus. Martinez, I think it's unrealistic, but you never know. I just can't see that one happening. And Oris talks, big ups. Thank you, Oris. Appreciate it. Going back to tournaments, Phil's comment. Tournaments would be a great for you guys. He could be the man at Arsenal. If he went to someone like Liverpool, he'd just be another player for them. Exactly. And that's the same as Jesus. I know I keep going back to him. But Tielemans would be a starter. He would be in that midfield. He'd be the playmaker. He'd be the one behind Odegaard. He'd be the one to give the ball to Odegaard. He'd be the one to clean up from Partey. He would be an absolute perfect signing. I think someone like Neves is similar to him. I think Neves is definitely going to Man United or Liverpool or Real Madrid. So Tielemans hasn't been linked with anyone else really, apart from us in the last couple of months. I know Liverpool, but what Phil said there is spot on. I think he would be a great addition to our team. It's someone who I would definitely want. If you told me the one player I want, it's him. He's the first one on my list because I think we need a centre mid. It's my favourite position. I think it's a position that matters in the team. I think Xhaka was okay, but I do think we need an upgrade now. And I think he's younger. I think he's more hungry. I think he's better technically. And I think he's someone who can move us forward and hopefully have a good year this year. Let's hope we do. Phil's right. It's spot on. He is right. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, it's spot on. Definitely. I think Tielemans will be a great signing for us. Just moving on, there's a few more names that have been linked, but nothing really concrete. I know we've been linked with Barcelona's backup goalie. Can't remember his name, but I don't see the point in that. I believe Matt Turner from America has come in to sign to be the backup for Ramsdale this year. When it comes to players leaving, William Saliba is not leaving. All these reports about Marseille, he's not going anywhere. I think Arteta realises if you sell the young player of the year in the French league and a player that now plays in the French team, where the depth they have at centre-back is unbelievable, then you need to keep him. If he's sold to Saliba, he's a fucking idiot, and I would be 100% Arteta out. He needs to come in, and yes, it depends what happens with Gabriel, because there's been rumours about him. For me, he starts Saliba. He has to start. So who does he start in front of? Probably Ben White. Even though Ben White had a good year, I like Ben White. But Gabriel Styles, you've got to start him and Saliba. Saliba's got to come near start because he's got that value. He's only 22. Yeah, if he gets sold, I'd fucking go chin Arteta. Simple as. Other people, Eddie Nketiah, apparently his contract has still not been signed. There's no official confirmation and there's no official reports, but there is a lot of reports saying that he is going to sign a new contract. What the fuck are we playing at? That is embarrassing. Along with our Eleni, what the hell? They've been shit for 4, 5, 6 years, but all of a sudden they have 4 or 5 games and we didn't do enough. They had 3 or 2 decent games. And he gets a new contract. It makes no sense. Balogun, who signed a new contract, who will now come in, is a better backup because he's still younger and he's still learning and he still needs to get there. And Nketiah is not good enough. And if we start a season with Eddie Nketiah, fans expect another long, hard season and expect us to finish 7th or 8th again. He is not good enough. It's an embarrassment. If anyone tells me different, they need to go fucking jog on. No. Eleni should have signed. And Nketiah, let's hope that it breaks down and he ends up leaving. Let's hope, pray. But at the moment, likely that he's going to sign a new deal. I think you need a proper striker now. None of these flexible stuff. Yeah, like I said the same, mate. I like Jesus, though. If he's told he's going to be number 9, then that's good. If he's told he's going to flex, then that's what's all pissed me off. As still as it sounds, I think if you had Giroud this year, you would have made the top 4. That's a good shout. Another good shout. Phil's bringing these good shouts today. He's definitely saying how it is. So basically with Nketiah, no. Lacazette confirmed yesterday he's leaving. Thank you, Lacazette. Decent serviceman for us. Unfortunately, struggled last year. It wasn't good enough from him. He's there to get the goals, not there to lead and get assists. Yes, that's part of the game, but a striker needs to score. And unfortunately, that's why he's leaving. I think probably wants to go back to France. So I'm not going to talk too much in it. Thank you, Lacazette, but unfortunately we need to move on now and we need to get a younger striker. Bellerin wants to stay in Real Betis, but obviously he has to come back. I wouldn't mind Bellerin coming in to be the backup right back. I think he's better than Cedric Soares. He's shit. But again, it all depends what we do with Hickey, because Hickey's flexible. I'm not too fussed about Bellerin. I don't really mind what happens with him. But it is what it is. I'm not too fussed. Lucas Torreira, 1 year left on his contract. Apparently a lot of rumours about him. A lot of teams are interested in him. Looks like Lazio now want to make an offer for him. But a lot of teams seem to be offering lower than what Arsenal want. I think Arsenal want around 15 million for him. A lot of teams seem to be wanting to do these loan deals and less than 10 million. Where Arsenal say, look, he's still got a year. He started fulfilling, for the teams he's been at over the last couple of years. We want a proper deal. We want a decent offer for us. I think he should just come in and be back up. If he's got a year left, let him be back up. If no one's willing to pay the money, don't flog him alone. Just keep him because we struggled in that area this year. We had him. We might have won a few more games. Regarding that, that's it really. There's not really much more news regarding Arsenal. But what I want to ask the people watching now is, who should Arsenal sign? If Arsenal need to sign 4 players, what 4 players should they sign this year? Now, Arsenal, for me, should sign the following players. I think we should sign Tielemans. I think we should sign Lewin. I think we should sign Jesus. And I think we should sign Zinchenko. Very happy. Let's hope no one leaves of note. Lacazette's left. If Xhaka leaves, then I'm not particularly bothered. Let's hope Gabriel stays where he is and Saliba comes back. But if we can sign Zinchenko as a backup left back, Torreira's gone alone. Tielemans to start with Partey, and Calvert-Lewin and Jesus competing for that number 9 spot, pardon me, then I would be very, very happy. So they should sign me. I'm a free agent at the moment. Thank you, Ella. I don't know the money Ellie is getting, but 100k for Nketiah is a joke. Yeah, this is why Salah wants to make a bucks now. Nketiah should be on that 10k. He's had nothing to prove him to be anywhere in 100k, but it's money, it's greed. Now he's saying that these rumours that he wants to play football, but now he's asking for 100k. It's a bit of a joke for me. Okay, I'm going to go soon, but if anyone wants to pop on and just have the word, there is a link. Coming up on Daddy and the Don. Please put in your comments why I talk about what's coming up on Daddy and the Don. Please put in your comments who Arsenal should sign. Who should Arsenal sign? Jay, if you're still watching, should Arsenal sign Hickey or should we leave him alone? Coming up on Daddy and the Don anyway. Why we do that? Coming up on Daddy and the Don, we do have a top 60 sportsman list coming out very shortly. It will be too short today. It's my list. There are rules. If you've not seen the rules video, basically there'll be 6 max per sport. There is no UFC because I don't watch UFC. There's no rugby league. And as much as I love wrestling, there's no wrestling because, you know, that's predetermined. That will be coming hopefully this week, next week. Top 60, hopefully 2 short today, 1-minute videos. Stay tuned. At the end of that countdown, we'll be doing a live. Coming on the show channel today, it will be Brentford's review. There will be the review from Dougie, Reese, Ella, and Laura. They will be giving their player of the season, goal of the season, performance of the season, and overall rating. I'm sure Jay will be watching that with interest, and he'll probably put his regular comment mugging someone off. But that's what's coming up on Daddy and the Don. We'll continue to do lives. I know I spoke to Jay and one of the guests that come on here, and he's willing to do a Brentford transfer news. But today we're talking about Arsenal. And Arsenal transfer news. Arsenal interested in Jesus. Looks likely. Samathika being an offer rejected. We've pulled out Oshimini. Continue to bring the Tielemans. Gnabry continues to be linked via Sky Germany. But that's it today, guys. I don't need to go on and talking. You know, it's just a quick show about the Arsenal transfer update. We'll continue to do this. Continue to try and get some sources in. I do have a few, but I can't let you know who they are. But yeah, that's been the transfer show today on Daddy and the Don with me. Stay tuned for more content in the coming weeks. We will be doing some more lives. I know we don't do as many as the other rival channels or other channels that we work with, but that's because the Daddy's not allowed to do them, and I can't work it. I work shift work, so I can't do every day. I'm sure the Daddy will now put the comment that I'm an arsehole. But anyway, for today, guys, that's been the Arsenal transfer news. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Make sure you share this video. Put a comment in the comments once we leave, and I'll see you next time. I'll be back hopefully within the week for some more updates with Arsenal, Brentford, and you never know, we might see their Daddy do a Palace one. Oh, hang on, someone wants to come on. Oh, whoa.
Hello.
He's on. I was about to go. You came on.
Oh, I just heard myself getting mugged off, so I thought I'd better come on and sort it out.
All right, before I talk about... All right. Arsenal have to sign 4 players. Who do they sign?
Who's that?
Arsenal have to sign 4 players. Who do they sign?
Who, Arsenal?
Yeah.
I think Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin's there. Tielemans. I think you need another centre-back. And possibly someone who can play left and right back, like as a utility man.
But if we get to Liga, I don't think a centre-back is a need.
I don't know. I just think you need one in there with Gabriel. Another good one.
Yeah. What about William, the one that come from Marseille? Got to give him a chance.
Is he going to play straight away, though?
It has to.
Anyway, getting back to that, right? What happened? All this talk, Arsenal were going after everyone. When they were in 4th and chasing down 3rd place, they were going for everyone.
Yeah.
Messi was even on the books, wasn't he? Everyone was going to come to Arsenal.
Arsenal always come. Everyone wants to ask. Everyone who thinks Arsenal going to sign everyone.
And then what happened? Oh, they played shit. They came 5th. Oh, well, Nenny, stay. Eddie will pay. Oh, what happened just in 2 weeks?
Arsenal did an Arsenal.
Yeah, but Eddie, you couldn't even give him away for free. You couldn't give him away with a Happy Meal until you came 5th.
Yeah.
And now you want him back.
I hope he doesn't sign. I'm praying he doesn't sign. I'm praying because I think he'd be an absolute mare. I think.
But what is he on right now? How much is he on right now?
I don't know. He's probably on about 20 grand.
But even that's too much. But technically, he's still like not an academy player, but he's technically just a squad player. He just got lucky that Arteta just kicked everyone out, and you only had Lacazette left. That's the only reason he's played this season, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not good enough. But it's like with going back to Anelini, like you've been shit for 6 years, you've been on loan for one of them. You come back, you have 4 good games, and all of a sudden you get a new contract, and everyone's saying he's a good backup. He's not a good backup.
I didn't even know he still played for you at the start of the season.
Yeah, no, he was still there. He was on the bench half the season. Phil McAfee, ready for the Eval season. Let's fucking go. Fucking talk about Arsenal. Max, what do you reckon? Who do you reckon Arsenal should sign, honestly? Put in the comments, Mako. Who do you reckon?
Anyway,
what was wrong? We will do a Chelsea transfer show. I'm not sure. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Phil.
What was wrong with his list then? His top 5. What was wrong with that?
Who?
Macca's.
What top 5?
Chelsea managers.
Because he's got Tuchel in it. No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'll just do it as a joke. No, what was it again? I can't remember. Tuchel, Mourinho.
Specifically, first time he didn't want any of the second Mourinho. Yeah, Di Matteo 5.
Didn't he win the league though?
Yeah, he won it once on his second one.
Where the fuck was Avram Grant? You know what? That's correct. Morata has been linked with Arsenal. Good spot. Morata was linked. That was last week, but that was. I wasn't sure how true that was with Arsenal.
Do you think though, with Martinez and Dybala always being linked to you, do you actually think they're comfortable in Italy and they'd be a little bit lightweight in the Prem? Does that worry you at all?
A lot of players would be, though, isn't it? That's why a lot of players struggle in the Prem. Some players just can't handle it. Dybala, I think Dybala will come to the Premier League. I think he'll go Tottenham or United. I don't want him because I don't think he's as good as what people make out to be. I think he's underachieved at Juventus. He's never been the main man as what he wants to be. He's a bit like a Neymar. He really is. So Martinez, again, I saw his name linked with us a few years ago. Didn't know who he was. Tracked on. You know, you keep track of these players when you find out who they are. And he's a decent player. He scores goals. He's a bit of an all-round player as well. And if you can get play in the Argentina squad, that means you're decent enough. But he's like with this guy, this Thematico, whatever his name is. Never heard of him. Never heard of him until yesterday. Saw his name pop up, and then all these fans now are going to go, sign him, because they're clueless. It's like that one who went to Juventus. Yes, he scored a few goals at Juventus, but I've never heard of him. Never heard of him. Velasquez, whatever his name was. Never heard of him. I want Calvin Lewin. Calvin Lewin's good enough, and I think
they were saying when he was at Fiorentina, though, about half of his goals were penalties. I think just under half of his goals when he.
And that's what people don't realise. Tuchel won us the league, the Champions League. Yeah, you need a 20-goal scorer. Yeah, but Jesus could be that, Maka. Jesus could be that. He really could. I think Jesus is someone that I would like. I didn't think of him, but you know, if he's scoring goals for Man City, the reason why he'll come Arsenal because he knows he'll be the main man. He'll know it, and that's why. Who out there will do that? Who will come? But that's it. Spot on. This Victor Osimhen, whatever his name is, he's got 24 goals in 2 seasons in Napoli. That's not good enough. That's 24 goals. That's what you expect someone like Ivan Toney to score. And that's not offending Ivan Toney or Ollie Watkins. But they're there to score 10 to 12 goals a year. That's their target. If you come and play for Arsenal, your target is to score 20 goals. Anyone in the top 6.
But that's like, you get a lot of players as well. Like they won't come to you and be a main player. They just go like Divock Origi's just sat on the bench for the last 4 years, just trousering Liverpool's money because he knows he can't earn that money anywhere else outside the top 4 club. No,
and he'll go AC Milan now and probably start because the other 2 strikers they got there are both old. Oh no, they got another one, but I forgot his name. Oh, I forgot the other guy's name. Who would you take Lukaku straight after yes or no? Yes, I would. I think he's a good player. I think he's just confidence is losing it at the moment. I think his touch is his problem, but he can finish. He's strong. He needs confidence. I think if Chelsea just let him play and just stop. I know he didn't do it right, and I know what he did was wrong, and what he said completely out of order there. But I think he's good enough. I think they really need to give him another year and let him just be the main fucking man. Because if he's given the opportunity, but then another time he does struggle in the Prem, and I agree with that.
Whenever stuff like that happens, though, it never ends. They never come back from it. That's always there. It's like a stain on them. So you look at all the shenanigans with Paul Pogba. He never became that player he was in his first season back at United again. After all the rows, that first row with Mourinho, did it with every manager, pissed the fans off, and that's it. You've lost the club, haven't you?
Yeah. But do you reckon Arsenal are going to have another window where they spend over 100 million, or do you think they'll be a bit more conservative?
As a neutral, because you just think I mug off Arsenal and think they're shit all the time, but when you were still a little lad and I was watching the Premier League at school, I used to like Arsenal because obviously Palace were in the Championship. We were up and down. I think we had 3 promotions, 3 relegations. So I obviously followed Premiership football, and I used to like Arsenal. So when you had like Pires, Junberg coming through, that was great football to watch. So I'm always disappointed now because of what I remembered Arsenal being. So that's where like the mugging off comes from.
And that's why I think a lot of fans like me are getting annoyed, because my expectation is I want to win the league. I'm not saying we will win the league. I'm saying because when you win the league, you want to win it again. So when all these dicks coming out going, it's progression, we finished 5th. No, we're still shit. Do you know what I mean? But I don't want to win the league. But we need to get back to that, and we're a long way away from it. But we had a better season. We've now got an opportunity now to sign a few players. But I just think the way Arsenal deal with stuff is ridiculous. I think we're so slow and we always miss out. That Bruno Guimaraes, I never heard of him before. I didn't know who he was, the one that Newcastle signed. But if we were linked with him, why not just fucking buy him?
Yeah, and it's the same. Like if you spend 100 million and it's 50 million on Ben White, 34 million on the goalie, who was initially just going to be a sub goalie. Obviously, he broke into the team, so it worked out.
Yeah.
But if you spend 150 million on a centre back, a defender, a right back, that's not going to chuck you into the top 4. If you went out and spent 150 million on weapons, Tillmans, a striker, another.
Calvin Lewin, Jesus, Tillmans, another a fullback, Hickey. I don't even know the guy. I've seen him play once, but he can play both right and left back. So,
yeah, but if you do that and you're going for top 4, then it's well done. But if you spend 150 million and you're just like wasting it on like European chuff, then you might as well have just played with the team you've had this season.
Yeah, exactly. Eddie Nketiah and then Aaron. How fuck, mate. Arsenal
It's a celebration he does
we
as
are
well.
spot on. Yeah.
It's a celebration he does when he scores. It's like he's the Rock or someone, isn't he? With the eyebrow and the arms folded.
You scored against Chelsea because they gave you the ball. It's not like you did anything special. And then scoring against Leeds wasn't particularly hard near the end of the year, was it? Fucking hell. He's acting like he fucking was amazing. They've been shit, you know. I need to do a Palace one, but I know this is an Arsenal video. But regarding Palace, Phil, what's a good window for you this year?
I think obviously Conor Gallagher's gone, so we need to look at how that's going to look for us now, because obviously he was a big part of how we played and like, under Vieira's way. So that's going to need to be addressed. Some people have been saying about trying to get Billy Gilmore on loan, same sort of player. Obviously not going to be good, but he sort of just wasted the season, didn't he, at Norwich? That was like a bit of a nothing move. But again, it's just like, who are we going to get that, say, if we look for someone good, say Chelsea didn't want Conor Gallagher, and then we said, oh yeah, come and play for us. Someone like Villa or Newcastle, or just come in and say, here you go, here's double what Palace can give you.
Yeah.
I think a good window for us is just not losing anyone. I'd have Wan-Bissaka back on loan with a view to permanent deal or whatever it is, depending on what Man United want to do. I'd snap that off because Joel Ward cannot keep playing for us.
You hate Joel Ward?
Yeah. He's like a Phil Neville for our team. He's just a good, like...
He's like an enemy.
It's good to have there, but you want him to be the backup, really, don't you? You don't want him to be like your lead man.
Yeah. I think if you can keep hold of a Luis or Michael Ruiz and Eddie, which you will, and Zaha, I think you've got a happy opportunity. And if you sign Eddie and Nketiah, that's a great window for you.
I like, obviously, Conor Gallagher's going to go, but I like when Will Hughes does play. I think he does
Will Hughes played well. He's a similar player, so I don't think you need too much. I don't think he'll sign too much. I think Wan-Bissaka definitely, maybe another midfielder. But I think Pat's pretty content with his team. Like, obviously, Teta and Eddie up top, Edouard, I think he's quite content with his team. I don't think because he made a lot of changes last summer and it worked out. So when you make a lot of changes and it works out, you're sort of going, okay, well, I don't need to change too much because we're good enough to stay in it. Because right now, you want to stay in the league. That's it.
Yeah, I wasn't happy when he signed him on the permanent because he was on near enough a 2-year loan at the time, wasn't he? And then he made it permanent. But then
Who's that?
soon as Mateta, and then as soon as he signed him, he started scoring goals.
Yeah.
So he's sort of second half of the season, he was actually not too bad.
Did you see Phil Mackett's comment? Obviously, the end of the season, Gallagher was a no-show. Yeah, Gallagher went a bit quiet near the end, but
Yeah, I think
I don't know. I think he'll go new. I generally I don't think he'll start for Chelsea. I don't think he's in Chelsea's plans. So I don't think he'll start for Chelsea. So we'll just see.
It depends as well what he wants to do with the England team as well, doesn't he? Whether he wants to try and get in that, because he gets called up to the squad, but obviously he's not going to be anywhere near.
Yeah, that's it. He's in the squad now, but he won't. He's not going to play for Chelsea.
No,
because Mason Mount is in front. He's the same player as Mason Mount. So, he's a number 10 who can play in midfield three. Okay, that's what Gallagher is. He can play behind the striker or in the midfield three as the advanced one, if that makes sense. That's what Mason Mount is. Mason Mount isn't going to get dropped.
He needs to go somewhere like a Villa, like a West Ham or so. Somewhere where he's going to be competing for Europe, still top 7 in the Premier League, and force his way in.
Newcastle.
That's
if
the only
I was
way you can do it.
right now, I'd be looking at going, there you go, Chelsea. There's 40 million. Can we have Gallagher? And Chelsea would take that. They would. Chelsea would understand that they've got a guy in Mason Mount who's only a few years older than Gallagher. Or I don't even know, are they the same age? They're not that. It's not like Mason Mount's 28, 29. Mason Mount's still relatively young. So I don't see how they're going to fit it. Gallagher doesn't play on the wing. Gallagher's not a winger. He's in the middle. So he's not going to want to be shoved out. He's not going to show his potential. And then he'll just be shit. And then he'll go on loan. And then Chelsea. If I was Chelsea right now and someone went, Newcastle went, where are Gallagher? There's 40 million. I think Chelsea would take that. I think you can't obviously do that, but Newcastle can. But like I said, I look at you lot. Going back to, I don't think you need that much. I think you've got 2 very good centre backs. I think if Gay has another good year, then I think he'll be on his way next year.
I think the worry with it is we haven't got cover for him.
Yeah, who is your? Is it still Topkins?
Yeah, but he's always injured. But it's Kouyaté will play there if one of them's injured, but he can also play in holding midfield as well.
Yeah, but he didn't really play that much.
No. But that's what the option's going to be. He'd be the next one to go in if there was an injury.
Yeah, I think you maybe need a centre back and centre mid then, because I know your centre mid you're a little bit short now, and I think Will Hughes is probably your youngest centre mid.
And Luka Milivojevic, he's pretty much just done now. He's just there for sort of like.
And MacArthur can't keep doing it. I'm sorry,
but I don't know what it is. He just when he actually gets a run of games, he's a bit like. What do you think of John McGinn? Like I never really think of him as a great player, but when you watch him, he can do it, can't he?
He's a decent player. He's not amazing, but he's a good. He's a Premier League player for a team in the.
If you took over Aston Villa and they were saying, right, here's your players, pick your team, you wouldn't necessarily put him in it on paper when you first pick that team. But when he plays, when you plays, he seems to, all the managers pick him, don't they? So there must be something that
he must be good.
Yeah,
but he's not someone who's going to make a difference. There's always players. I think maybe I don't really know who's around. To be fair for you lot, I don't know who you would buy. I don't know where.
We just go for the Championship Player of the Season, Young Player of the Season every year, don't we?
Yeah, that's how you normally do it. Yeah, but we'll see with you lot. I think you lot would be all right. Before you go, real visit next season for Arsenal and Palace. Be realistic. I'd take where we finish this year. I'd say 5th or 6th. I'd be happy with that. Realistically, 5th or 6th. I think that's where we probably will look to finish. I know 4th would be a target, but I'd be very shocked if we got 4th next year. I think 5th or 6th. I think maybe trying to get to the final Europa League, try and win a cup, that would be an objective. But if we ended up 5th and 6th with nothing, then I would go, that's probably what I expected. Before, Phil, you answer your one. Big up, Del Boy. What's the bleeding story? Graham Ledon, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. So what's objectives for Palace?
He's going to go mad when he sees all the shit we've been linking with Arsenal in this show. And he's going to do his nut again.
No, he's mad. He wants on his channel. There's a guy called Kyle, and he's going to come on Daddy Nadon soon. He's a nutter, a lovely guy, but he's like, Del Boy, you don't want to get on these bad side. They go in.
Who's the one with the bald head on there that just goes?
Kyle.
Is that him, yeah? He looks like he's going to have a heart attack every time he.
Oh, he's brilliant, lad. Oh, I love him. He's brilliant. he's gonna come on with Del Boy at some point. He said to me, "We're finished 8 calls." I can imagine you shouting that, Del Boy, mate.
I think Del Boy's the only.
Big up his channel, guys. Anyone people are watching. People watching Del Boy Gunner TV. Del Boy Gunner TV. Great content. They do. They go through a lot of old seasons. So if you're into your history of Arsenal, they go through seasons with some of the lads. They do phone-in shows. A few people that go on there. Carl, top man, he'd be on the show at some point. He's another very passionate fan. Both of the lads, Delboy and Carl, they are Arteta out. So if you ever come on a show and you're Arteta in, be careful because Carl will shout at you.
Have you noticed that you can never mug Delboy off over Arsenal?
No, I kill you.
Anything you say about Arsenal, he's already said worse about them, so you can't actually.
Brilliant. No, cheers, Delboy. We'll go to you, Phil. Palace, what do you reckon?
What do you think about it? How hard is it going to be to do better than this year?
Where did you finish? 11th?
10th in the end, wasn't it? 10th and
10th,
FA Cup semi. So that's quite hard to repeat or better, isn't it? For us. Newcastle are going to be better.
Mm-hmm. So would you just take 12th and 13th?
Yeah, I'd have just said anything between 10th and 14th and not flirting with relegation for the whole season, still playing good football. Haven't got to go far in the cups. You've got to maybe the quarterfinals in one of the cups. That'd probably be a good season.
If you lot finish 7th and Arsenal finish 8th, then very likely that Pat's coming Arsenal. That's what I reckon, anyway. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's a fair comment?
Well, I don't think we'd have to come 7th and you finish 8th for that to happen. It'd just be...
Let's say you finish above us. Let's just say that. Let's say we finish... Because we can finish 8th. It's likely. We've done it 2 years in a row.
But it could happen if we finish 10th and you finished 8th. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, all right, yeah. If Pat does what he did this year...
Because they just say he's doing it with half the talent and half the money, basically.
Yeah. But he's an Arsenal legend as well. It always helps, doesn't it? Yeah, he kicks who he wants. Patsy Vieira.
Hey, can you imagine if Mark Hill was on that pitch? What would have happened then?
Mark would have got chinned.
When he does those close-up pictures for his profile, and he just turns around and Pat's there bearing down on him.
Oh, he kicks who he wants. Yeah, Pat don't give a shit. So you would probably want similar to this year.
just very similar to this
League Cup. You know what really annoys me? These teams from 8th to 20th in the Premier League, they need to
play their kids in the League
more
Cup
in the Carabao Cup. Just
get knocked out.
If I supported someone like Southampton, I'd be like, I want to win the Carabao Cup. That's what I want to win.
Look who's won the Carabao Cup for the last 10 years. Go back. City have won it about 5 times. Liverpool won it.
We haven't won it in 29 years.
That's because you play your kids and your first team ain't good enough.
No, we've been to 3 finals.
Remember Wenger?
We lost to Chelsea, Birmingham, and Man City.
I remember when Jeremy Aliadier was going to be the next best sensation, and that happened for about 7 years, and then where did he end up playing? Was it
for fucking Saint Etienne?
Was it Middlesbrough or somewhere he went after?
Yeah, he went somewhere. He was shit. Do you remember Yaya Sanogo?
Yes, I remember. He came twice, didn't he?
Oh, fuck off, Chris. I remember that day as well. I remember that day. We were at the Bell and the Green, and then we went to the Load. I won the tournament that we played, and then we went to the casino, and I won £1,500. So it wasn't a bad day after all, Chris. Double down, yes. You know what that means. I'm going away from here now. We've got 4 people watching, so I need to stay.
But what's happening with the hands? They're all over the place.
Who does that?
I'm keeping mine still. You know what we have to do? If we get 500 subscribers before the Premier League season starts, we'll do a show about what happened with that £1,500 and who's we. A tell all.
We're gonna have a good time, darling. The way you looked around, you went, "Who's we?"
Yeah, there's about 20 of them standing there.
Oh, brilliant! It's when the fella came over and I was like, "Come here, darling," and you were like, "Fuck on, my girl." You remember that? shouted it like under your breath, but loud enough for anyone to hear it.
Yeah, the music went on quiet as well, just as I said it, so that the whole place heard.
Oh, anyway, we are really moving on. So, what do you think both teams? I'll start with our Palace. Do you think Palace will have a busy window, or do you think they'll have a good window, or do you think it could be a frustrating, quiet one?
I think it'll be a nothing window because I think they'll go for the next tier up players now, where they'll try and be ambitious, and then we won't get any of them, and we'll probably end up just doing what you've done with the desperation, giving them those contracts. We'll end up we'll have a budget, and we'll just end up spending it all on deadline day, just on whatever's available.
And what about Arsenal?
I just think it's going to, like what we touched upon before, you're going to be linked with everyone and probably end up with like no one, and you'll spend 50 million for that player. That, because does it worry you sometimes, like Jesus, who else is in for him?
I don't know. Tottenham. I think Tottenham is.
Yeah, but when you look at it, there's no like, you don't hear like, oh, AC Milan want him, oh, Bayern Munich.
No.
You don't hear all other nations or big leagues linked.
Yeah, I know.
You sort of think to yourself, why is it only Arsenal that are looking at him? That would stand out as a concern. But then if the others were interested in him, you're fucked anyway, because you can't compete with them.
Because you had a good season, your players turn into average noddies, and you'll finish 15 next year. Can you see improvement in size terms of finishing the league? Yeah. What do you reckon, Phil? Give that a read and answer it.
I think we won't come 10th again, because I think like a lot of teams underperformed as well, and we just we overperformed, but we just coasted into that position at the end. We didn't do anything amazing to get it. And like you said, like players will be thinking now, oh, you know, where you get like some fans, like I know like Jay doesn't know that. Like Jay gets pissed off with the Brentford fans when they're like aiming for Europe now, and you think you've just come in, and they could have come probably, if they'd won a couple more games that they should have won, they could have probably come 8th this year. And
well, if they won their last game, they would have finished 10th.
Yeah, exactly. But they weren't far off 8th place, were they?
No, they weren't. No,
7th's a big gap.
There was a big gap from 13 to 9th that everyone was tight, and then there was like a 6-point gap to 14th.
But like if Brentford came 16th and stayed up with like say 2 or 3 games to spare next season, that wouldn't be a disappointing season, because
I think any year they stay in the league for the next 5 years is great.
Yeah, they'll look at that as just another year in the Prem, another year to get the money in. But then you get some that you just look at it and think, oh yeah, we can go to the next step. But there's 20 teams in the league. They've all got like big like ownerships. I know there's a couple of smaller teams that haven't got the budget, but most of the teams have got like wealthy owners. So
all the teams have got budgets. Any team that comes in, Brentford have the money. Bournemouth, they all have the money. We've got to remember, a lot of these teams who get promoted, they get 170 million
just for turning up. Yeah,
that's it. And then they get 100 million parachute payments. That's why these teams go back and forward.
But you look at it like
that's when teams don't go straight back up and they get relegated to League One, because they're fucked, because they don't have the money.
But if you have 10 billionaire owners, 10 oil rich owners, 3 of them ain't getting in Europe.
Yeah.
If you give your team 100 billion or whatever to spend, 3 of them will not get in Europe, because it's impossible.
Ericsson, massive for them staying up. Needed him to stay simple. Yeah, I think they've offered him a new deal. We'll cover that in the Brentford transfer. But yeah, I think he is massive for them. I think he brings a lot to them. Definitely. I know. Like I said, we don't need that sort of player. I think Tottenham do. That's probably a worry that Tottenham might snatch him. But he's 30. Anyone over the age of 30 always go. I know that a lot of players play now to 36, 37. But you'd always worry when the player's over 30 for me. I think their prime is 23 to 30. With
Ericsson, though, do you think, because obviously he's had to come to Brentford, which he would have never gone to if what happened hadn't happened, do you think like there's players that maybe in the Inter Milan team that he knows that would perhaps come on his recommendation now that wouldn't have even thought of Brentford before? Now that they've got someone of his calibre, he can influence other people to join?
Yeah, agreed. No, I agree with that. I think a lot of people would have in the Danish squad, because there's some good players that play in the Italian league. I think that Damsgaard. There's a couple of young lads as well. I think they would never have gone to. Well, they probably would have, but
because of Thomas Frank. Yeah.
Well, you've got to remember Denmark. A lot of Denmark players automatically will go to Brentford because they've literally got like a family there. So
Because what was he? Was he the under-21 manager or something early in his career for the Nationals?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Just for that, because we got Odegaard and we got Smith Rowe, we don't need a number 10 that's going to start. We'll sign a youngster. We'll sign, like I said we need an attacking midfielder, but only one to back up Odegaard because you've also got Smith Rowe that can play there. So we wouldn't want Ericsson because he wouldn't fit in our team because we play a 4-2-3-1.
He scored a good goal, didn't he, Smith Rowe?
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Yeah, of course I did. I understand why he went in the squad because he just had not poor, he just kept getting injured. And then he was awful against Newcastle. That's fair enough. You know, he was poor and he didn't play the last game of the season.
Sometimes that happens though, doesn't it? You know, when you're the starter and you get injured and someone takes your spot, and then when you come back, you're not.
He was our best player first start of the season. First half of the season was our best player for me. He got injured. Martinelli started hitting it high, and he kept COVID. He got injured. And he didn't play a lot near the end of the season.
But do you remember last season when I was saying, like, when you was bigging him up, and I wasn't disagreeing that he doesn't look good, but I was saying he didn't have any end product. He didn't have any stats to back it up with. But he's brought that to his game this year.
Yeah, 10 goals.
His numbers have gone up by 2.5 times what he was getting the season before. Because I think it was Jay was saying that first day of the season he was shitting his pants every time he got the ball just because of the way he was running at the defenders. And I could always see that when he was playing, that when he gets the ball, he just goes at his play, doesn't he? He goes straight forward and one-on-one. It's direct and it's like intimidating in a way, just the way he runs at people. But then he was like, his final ball was poor. He wasn't finishing, but now he's added that to his game. So that's like, with him and Saka as well, that just opens everything up now. All you need is like I said, like an out-and-out number 9.
Yeah, no, spot on. No, to Macca's comment, he was a bit on and off the last end of the season. I do think he just couldn't get in the team consistently because obviously just because of the injury he got around Christmas time. He had a great year for me. I think he's definitely someone that will improve next year.
It's hard to fit all your midfielders in as well.
We've got 4 players. We've got 4 players that all play behind the striker. We can't fit them all in. Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka. Saka looks like a cert. For me, he's a cert. Odegaard had a great end of the season, or the second half of the season, where he was poor to start the season. Smith Rowe was opposite. Now, for me, I'd always start Smith Rowe. I'd start number 10. I think he's a great player. That's our strength. Them 4 players are our best 4 players for me. So they're the ones that need to start stepping up. I think, Partey had a better year this year. He was better. I think when he got injured, it was showing that he was missed. We need someone with him. Tielemans, we need a striker. Jesus or Calvert-Lewin, or both. Defensively, you got to look. Samiatsu and Tini injured. We were shit because Torres is fucking dog shit. Tavares is dog shit. Ben White was injured, and I think he had a better year than what people give credit for. We're not far away, but we're still not good enough to challenge the top 3. I think top 4 was good for it. We had a good year in hindsight, but where we were, it's disappointing because we bottled it. We should have easily got 4th by about 5 or 6 points. We were like 3 points clear with 3 games in hand. We completely shit our pants, which is what I said, and that's why I was so cautious throughout. And I always said that because I know what we do. And I never jump the gun because I know what Arsenal are like over the last 20 years.
But if you get Tielemans, though, you need to then mix it up because you've got all those youngsters in front. You'll have Tielemans pulling the strings, and then you need Partey to basically be like the enforcer, be like Xhaka.
Yeah, but he will be. He
without the red cards.
That's no, he will be. Yeah, exactly.
Xhaka, he annoys me because he's trying to be this like hard man all the time, but he doesn't get sent off being a hard man. He gets sent off being an idiot.
Yeah.
So it kick out or make a stupid foul.
And it's not what you need to do.
Yeah, he just needs to be there just to like protect those players and just to break up all the play and get those players on the ball.
Final question. I'll start with me. Arsenal and Palace's best and worst game of the season. So our best game of the season, Arsenal, was against Tottenham at home. Thought we played really well. I think we should have won by more. Worst performance of the year, Newcastle away. There's no question for me. Newcastle away. I think Palace away and Tottenham away were bad, but Newcastle away, I think we're absolutely fucking terrible. We just can't handle the press, and that's why I think Arteta needs to go back and look how to play against the press, because that's when we were poor away from home, was when we couldn't play the press. What about you, Phil, for Palace? Best or worst game?
Well, I said earlier on the last show we did that the 2-0 City win was obviously one of the highlights away. But when you factor in they got a red card quite early in that game.
Yeah.
So it was always an advantage. I know City still, they could come back and win. But against you as well, the way we played for about 30 minutes of that first half, we just sort of like blew you away in that first half, wasn't it? You never recovered from it.
We could recover. I got back to the press. You were pressing us. We couldn't handle it.
But I think the City game at home, when they were the title race was just getting tasted, and they needed that win, and we held them to a 0-0 draw. I think that was probably the best team performance because they absolutely battered us for that game.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was 11v11, and we defensively we shut them out. They couldn't score against us. So even though it was only for a point, I think that was probably the best performance. And the worst one, there was a couple. After we got knocked out to Chelsea in the cup, we were awful for a couple of games, and it was almost as if we were on the beach. Like the Newcastle game was just complete dog shit. But I think the worst game, Macca was there, first game of the season. It was Pat's first game, so you could sort of understand it. But it was as if he just came in and said, "Oh, we just do what Roy did for this game." And
thank God he didn't. Otherwise, it would have been not curtain to you.
But that first game, like Macca would say, if you watched how they played then to how they play now, you'll just think that team's going straight down.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my 2 games.
Enough. All right, I'm going to end it there because I've got stuff to do and I've got to go and put my bets on for the derby.
Might as well just write a blank check for a minute.
Who's we? No, the horse racing.
That's what I mean. You might as well just give them the money, not bother putting anyone on the slip.
I won the Oaks yesterday.
I won. What, you was riding it, was you?
Yeah. Who's we? All right, well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for coming on, Phil. You stayed, well, not saved it. I was only going to do half an hour. I did my time, back to go, and Phil came on and we spoke for half an hour about Arsenal Palace. So that was.
I know we got to get the minutes up, haven't we?
We got to get the minutes up.
We've done nothing for last week.
Well, listen, I'm humbled and grounded now. So, anyway. That's my new saying. Anyway, I really appreciate you coming on, Phil. Well, coming on, you're the co-host. And thank you very much, Macca. Thank you everyone else for watching and commenting. And that's it for today's show. We'll be back soon for more transfer updates regarding Brentford and other teams, and we will be back for Arsenal. And don't forget to tune in for my top 60 greatest sportsmen of all time. And Brentford's review of the season will be up with it hopefully today, Phil. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be today. And don't forget, 500 subs, me, you, Macca, and the Rhinos video.
Yeah, done. That's it. All right. See you later.
See you later.
Thank you. And we'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.